You know, when you hire stupid people, you get stupid results. I think that is as easy as turning on a light switch and hopefully you got electricity. Sometimes it fails you, but most times that electricity pops up and most times stupid reigns. Well, every day we see it on our favorite network to slam, ESPN. ESPN's racist Lion Ryan Clark is the latest after Mina Kimes tried to come at OutKick. Mina Kimes saying that OutKick caused her family to be threatened. And racist rants were thrown at her. Of course, we said, look, show us and we'll correct it. Mina Kimes had nothing, no proof. Next up, Lion Ryan Clark. Now, Ryan Clark is in the Mina Kimes category, except Ryan Clark played a little bit and was a decent player on good teams, which I'll give him credit for. Ryan Clark, though, is there for a reason. See, Ryan Clark is the guy. He's the racist in residence. He acts like he's smart. When he talks, gets very pensive, gets very thoughtful. But what comes out of his mouth is pure hatred. Even African Americans in the media, like Jason Whitlock and others, are saying, can you just talk about an issue without making it black versus white? Because everybody sees through. He has become Burke Magnus and Connor Shell, the leaders on campus, on campus at ESPN. He has become the racist in residence. And it makes Connor Shell and Burke Magnus, the bosses, pump up with pride because they're pioneers in this. Stephen A. Smith is too broad to be the racist in residence. We need a racist rant. Find Ryan Clark. Well, Lion Ryan continues to reveal his stupidity to all of the world as the woke ESPN talking head who is known to insert race into every conversation when there is no need for that intersection, is now claiming that if Josh Allen wins the MVP award, it will be akin to Charles Barkley's MVP, claiming Allen is not better than Lamar Jackson, and he would win the MVP only due to voter fatigue, and that the Ravens QB past Michael Vick's rushing record is an evolution of the black quarterback. He's authentically black. Now, I don't know, was Michael Vick inauthentically black? I don't know. I don't know what all this means. See, my African-American friends and I, when we go to lunch, discuss this all the time. As a brother, you've got to be, quote, black enough. You know what I mean? Like, he ain't black enough, you hear African-Americans say to other African-Americans. I always thought that was Bolshevik. I always thought that was crapola. But apparently, it's still a thing, even in the NFL, authentically black. Huh? So what was Michael Vick exactly? What was Doug Williams exactly? What was James Harris going back? Joe Gilliam, what were they? I don't know. Vince Harris for the Colts. Was it Vince Harris? I liked him. He got beat up by one of his linemen for stooping that lineman's wife. But anyway, Vince Evans, excuse me. Anyway, I digress. Apparently, Lamar Jackson is black enough for Ryan Clark. Let's move beyond that. Here is Clark claiming that Lamar Jackson is an evolution for the black quarterback because he beat Michael Vick, another black quarterback with a rushing record. This is odd, but let's hear it.
And I want to say it to you, and I want to say it to Randall Cunningham, and I want to say it to Russell Wilson, and I want to say it to Michael Vick. This is the evolution of the position. Yeah. Without Randall Cunningham having to try to conform and be a pocket passer and also show his athleticism, we don't get to Michael Vick. And without Michael Vick accepting that and working to become a better passer, working to become a better leader, we don't get a Cam Newton. And if Cam Newton doesn't bring the style of play that he had the opportunity to bring from Auburn to the NFL and win an MVP doing it, we don't have a Lamar Jackson.
Correct.
See, we've needed at that position, because of all the negativity surrounding whether or not people like you can play it, we needed each of you to get to this point.
Yes.
And that's why we need Lamar Jackson to take that next step and hold that Lombardi trophy the same way we all cried when Doug Williams did it in the 80s.
Yes.
I love the sisters on the side preaching. Like, I'm telling you, women on a set just can't shut up. Like, that doesn't bother you, but it will if you listen to me. Dude's on the set. You ever watch Nate Burleson on CBS or wherever he's on? He can't shut up when someone else is talking. And whoever that sister was, I mean, she couldn't shut up. Look, I kind of sort of get his point, but why does it always have to be about race? Actually, Josh Allen's doing the same thing. You know, I will say this. Lamar Jackson is no better than Randall Cunningham. Lamar Jackson is no better than Michael Vick. Lamar Jackson is no better than any of the black quarterbacks that he named. This is not some great evolution. This is, how can I make this racial? That's what Ryan Clark does. How can I make this racial? I have no talent. ESPN won't put me as a game analyst because he can't. How can I make this racial? Because he is, Ryan Clark, the racist in residence. We need a racist. Get Ryan Clark out here. And good for him. He's making money doing it. It's become lucrative for him, not nearly as much as he or his agent are claiming. He ain't making big money. He's making a little bit. You can't make big money there by just doing a show a couple times a week. You make it being an analyst, signing a contract that says 50, 70 events a year, not showing up and being a bit player. So anyway, Ryan Clark is the racist in residence. This doesn't have to be about white quarter or black quarterbacks. This could be about all quarterbacks. The difference between Tom Brady and Lamar Jackson, stark. The new quarterback, Josh Allen, not being Tom Brady, being basically Lamar Jackson, but a white guy. I get what he's saying about the negativity. There certainly was a stigma against black quarterbacks back in the day, but that's long been gone. I mean, long. But the racists in residence, Ryan Clark, would have nothing to talk about if he just simply had to talk about foots. Here's Ryan Clark claiming Josh Allen winning the MVP would be Charles Barkley's MVP because Charles Barkley doesn't see color. Not like Ryan Clark. What does Ryan Clark say? It with me? Racist in residence. Here's more from Ryan.
Josh Allen's MVP would be like Charles Barkley's MVP.
Okay.
Really? Yeah, because I think right now what happens with people like Patrick Mahomes, with people like Lamar Jackson, is we get fatigued, and I think the voters get fatigued. And what happens is the MVP becomes a narrative-driven award, right? Every time you see the numbers put up on the screen, you can clearly look at those numbers and say that guy is having a better season than Josh Allen. Although Josh Allen is having a great season,
better than expected.
Josh Allen is having an MVP caliber season, but you win an MVP because you're better than everybody else.
Yes.
Right now, Josh Allen's not playing the quarterback position better than Lamar Jackson is. But it's going to be, well, Lamar Jackson has 2. Patrick Mahomes has 2. What is the other quarterback we count on that tier that's never won one?
Absolutely.
Josh Allen.
It's like giving Karl Malone, right, the MVP, because you could have given it to Jordan every single year, but people get tired of giving it to him.
Then we need to create a crusade to fight sports apathy. Fight performance, sports performance apathy.
Good
because
luck.
what?
I mean, listen, Steve Nash got 2 of them things. You know that. Right?
Yeah.
And so, but that's the point. It's the narrative, right? With Steve Nash got the first one. He was coming from Dallas, right? And he goes to the Phoenix Suns. They're winning, and he's playing well, averaging a double-double. And everybody says, okay, give it to him, when Kobe was clearly the best player in basketball. And so I think sometimes you have that narrative. Coming into this season, the narrative was what? Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills wouldn't be contenders because he didn't have the skilled players around him.
Correct.
Now that he has elevated them, now that he has played well, we're looking at his statistics. We're looking at the fact that this team's in the fight for the playoffs and the number 2 seed, and you're going to say, okay, Josh Allen must have did all of these things. But stack the numbers up.
Yeah. There go the numbers.
When you stack the numbers up now, and we also
close,
have to remember when we're
There go
talking
the
about
numbers.
rushing touchdowns, the Buffalo Bills have adopted the tush push.
Right.
Right? So those numbers are going to be
inflated.
different. And I know what's going to happen. Everybody in Bills Mafia is going to be pissed off and say that I don't think Josh should be the MVP. I think Josh has had the MVP caliber season, but he hasn't played better than Lamar Jackson.
Well, the name is most valuable player. This is where the 3 idiots, Monica McNutt and Elle Duncan, 2, I guess, sisters, I don't know. Monica McNutt, I guess, is. Elle Duncan's trying to be when necessary. But they couldn't shut up and let the man finish his point because they can't shut up. But anyway, they got to bring it to something stupid. and that's what McNutt did. But beyond that, let's discuss that. It's most valuable player. Like, it feels like, and this isn't fatigue, this just feels this way. It feels like the Baltimore Ravens could line me up at quarterback and win 9 games. It just feels that way. And you can make the argument that Jackson's the MVP, fine. You can make the argument Jackson's the best player. You can make the argument anybody you want's the best player. Jamar Chase looked really good the other day. You make the argument Joe Burrow has been the best player, but that's not the argument. The argument, the question, the award is most valuable player, and they made the point for Josh Allen. When Josh Allen lost Stephon Diggs, who these idiots all said was great, I said he's a pain in the ass. When Josh Allen lost Gabe Davis, who always showed up in the playoffs, Josh Allen did have a team that was looked at as the window had closed. Well, guess what? The window's wide open, and Josh Allen is playing as well, if not better than anybody for his team. It isn't look at the numbers. It's never look at the numbers. It's look at the numbers for 3 morons, L. Duncan, Monica McNutt, and Ryan Clark, sitting around a table trying to always compare white guy to black guy. If you watch basketball during that time, Steve Nash was the best player in basketball for his team, period. I mean, you can make the argument that Kobe Bryant scored more, whatever. Yes. I mean, but that's not the rule. That's not the argument. If most outstanding player, fine. You want most valuable, difference. And these idiots will never understand that. They'll understand that when it is a black man or black woman that is going to win, they'll understand it then. But they use numbers to solidify their argument that an African-American quarterback, and that's all this is. I mean, if Josh Allen was a black dude, they wouldn't have any conversation about it. They'd say both are great, which they kind of did. But it wouldn't be so vehement that this guy's the most valuable player and that guy's not. It's just the way these folks roll at ESPN. The folks at ESPN can't really study. They don't really study. They're very lazy. And you can just throw out numbers. Well, okay, that's great, but it's a valuable player. Lion Ryan decided to come at OutKick after being called out because, well, we are the antidote to the woke media. So Lion Ryan, according to ESPN's Ryan Clark, Lamar Jackson deserves the MVP over Josh Allen because he has revolutionized what it means to be a black quarterback and is authentically black. Ryan Clark's response to this conversation was not about MVP, but Lamar Jackson unappreciated. OutKick is so desperate to cause division. Yes. See, remember, we've talked about this. Let's use that little part. Cause division. They always project. We saw it in the election. Liberals, racists always project onto others what they are doing, which is cause division. Okay. That it sensationalized the headline. The MVP nor authentically black was mentioned here. When you work this hard to devalue my thoughts, I know I'm winning. Thank you. Yes, you are. Well, Clay fires back at Ryan Clark's assertion here. ESPN literally shared the headline clip where you rip the idea of Josh Allen being MVP. Lamar Jackson has won 2 MVP awards, same number of MVPs as Pat Mahomes, 1 less than Tom Brady. How in the world is Lamar Jackson underappreciated Carlton? There you go. But you got to say that because the racist in residence, Ryan Clark, has nowhere else to go. Legit. If this is true, if Josh Allen were black and Lamar Jackson were white, your argument would be the exact opposite because all you see is race. Well, he is, Clay. Ryan Clark is the racist in residence. Now, that's what he's called. Neither guy's won a Super Bowl or even played in one, but Allen hasn't won a single MVP. Lamar has 2. If anything, Josh is the underappreciated player. And you ain't no party like a Bobby Brack party because a Bobby Brack party don't stop. Hey, Ryan Clark, you claim OutKick is lying that you never mentioned MVP in the segment about Lamar being underappreciated. I would argue I never heard him being underappreciated. Your own employee literally tweeted out the clip below, the below clip. Also, we link to you declaring Lamar authentically black. Please apologize for lying. What is it about the folks at ESPN where they just can't stand by what they say? What is it about that? Why is that? If I say something and it's out there and it turns out to be wrong, I can't tell you how many times I have apologized. I can't. If it turns out to be right, well, it's just another day, and I get it. But Ryan, baby, we know what you are. Black folks know what you are. White folks know what you are. Martians know what you are. You're the racist in residence. Keep being you, baby. Come on, baby. Keep being you. My man Pat McAfee has had enough. Pat Mac and I were FaceTiming this morning, and because I'd sent him a note saying, boy, oh, man, boom, he is the best. Here's why Pat McAfee is the best. Because he makes big organizations need him more than he needs big organizations. The latest one is the Colts. Colts are a big organization. A lot of suck here in the city. Now, Colts got beat by the Giants. Colts got beat by the Giants, and you can't get beat by the Giants. They give 45 points to the Giants. I'm going to say that again. You can make the argument the Giants were the worst team in football. You can make that argument very clearly, very loudly. You can make that argument that the Giants are the most dysfunctional in a dysfunctional league in football. You can make the argument that Drew Lock is a bust, not yesterday. McAfee had enough. It's been an ongoing feud between Pat McAfee and the captain of the Colts, Zaire Franklin. Now, Pat Mac doesn't know Zaire. Pat Mac is simply talking about the Colts and Zaire Franklin, the leader of the worst era of Colts football since pre-Peyton Manning, and E.J. Speed, his partner in bad linebacker play, decided to come at Pat Mac. Pat Mac, of course, he had a few things to say about Anthony Richardson tapping out in the red zone on third down. Now, I have told you all, Anthony Richardson is a child. You all got mad at me. I was told that by people inside the building. Anthony Richardson, child. They benched him. He acted not like a child. And all of a sudden, he didn't play yesterday. Pat Mac said, listen to this. You will never, ever, ever hear a bigger takedown, that's being old, of a team by a former player ever. This is McAfee. I've said what I believe to be the truth about the team, and a bunch of Colts fans on the internet were trying to get me booed out of the city. Current players who have won nothing during their entire tenure started using me and my face to try and paint me as the enemy in the city I've committed my life to. And in the end, everything went, well, just like I effing said it would. In the biggest moments every day, everybody with a brain knew they'd crack, and they did. A blind person could see the red flags on this team. Work ethic questions never happens on good teams. Boys, you right about that. Preparation, commitment questions never happens on good teams. Late to meetings never happens on good teams. Late to skipping treatment never happens on a good team. Franchise quarterback tapping out on third down in the red zone because he was tired never happened in the history of the NFL. That's literally the only thing you need to tell someone who knows ball, and they could tell you everything about this team. Hey, the franchise quarterback who's a professional athlete getting paid millions of dollars and the face of listen to this, of a multi-billion-dollar franchise tapped out of the game because he was tired in the middle of the season. Oh, wow. Somebody would say that team has no chance. That would be the immediate response. And to the surprise of nobody, that was the response by everybody who's ever played or coached the game before. But Colts blogs and fans have been covering the Colts, who have been covering the Colts since 2020 and more recent, knew better than anyone. Started personally attacking me and trying to kick me out of town. When I said Joe Flacco gives us a better chance to win than AR, immediately after the tap out, I would have said whatever backup quarterback we had on the roster. That can't be what the face of your team is doing. Just can't be. And to a bigger aspect of it all, somehow AR thought it was okay to do that. This is where this is genius. That's a locker room issue. That's a culture issue. That's an indicator of a loser attitude radiating through a building that was built by greats. I have no idea how they fix it. I don't think it's like a light switch. We're going to be pros now, but maybe it is. But what do I know? Oh, wait. How this was all going to work out? I knew that. As a multiple-year season ticket holder, not renewing, and someone who has actively, daily attempted to be an additive to this beautiful city, I hope they become a good franchise again. The city deserves it. The OGs in the Colts building deserve it. Equipment managers, trainers, ticketing, PR, sales. And on the flip side, the players, coaches in that building deserves whatever happens to them. Your unwanted arrogance, laziness, and lack of professionalism has led you to another early vacation, which is probably what most of you entitled bums have been hoping for. I don't speak for the city, and I don't speak for all ex-Colts players because I was only a punter nominated for the Hall of Fame 3 times now, but nonetheless, speak from my own perspective. I've never seen a group waste opportunities, talent, money more than this group. Cheers. That is brilliant. See, people will get on Pat's ass, maybe, but there's no defending. There's no defending a team 3 years in a row. Now, think about this. This is your team, let's say. 3 years ago, all you got to do is beat either a 4 or 5 win Oakland team. I think that's what they were, with an interim coach. Now, they ended up in the playoffs. They might have won 9. With an interim coach in your own building, and you lose. Then you got to go to Jacksonville. That was the Urban Meyer year with Darrell Bevell taking over. All you got to do is win that game, and you're in the playoffs. And you lose. Fast forward last year. You got to win a game. Last game of the year. I don't know who it was. Jacksonville, Texas. I think it was the Texans. You got a 4th down play. You got to get a 1st down. Somehow, Shane Steichen, the head coach, doesn't have his best player, Jonathan Taylor, in. They throw a pass to a 3rd string Tyler Goodson. Not a bad play call. 3rd stringer drops. Season's over. Fast forward this year. A little tougher road. You got to beat the 2-win Giants and the 3-win Jacksonville Jaguars. Giants on the road, Jags at home. And hope somebody loses. Okay. You get your ass beat and you don't even try against the Giants. And I've said for years, used to be a sign-up. Nothing interferes with winning. Jimmy Irsay made Grigson the general manager, Polian the general manager, put it in the building. You had to have it in your office. Now the sign is filled with some kind of Obama-like bullshit. And guess what? The Colts suck. Don't be soft, ever, in any way, shape, or form, ever, in anything. Never complain, never explain, and don't ever play defense. All right, I got to get to this. So Cam Ward, the quarterback of the Miami Hurricanes, highly paid quarterback of the Miami Hurricanes, came over from Washington State in a bidding war. Miami won the bidding war. I believe they outbid Ohio State. That's what I was told. So Cam Ward, he created a firestorm by only playing the first half of their bowl game against Iowa State, a game that came down to the end and Iowa State ended up winning. Ward set the record for most touchdowns thrown in a Division I career during the first half of the game, surpassing Case Keenum's record of 157 before subbing himself out. I don't know if I believe that. Miami lost 42-41. Here's the deal. Now, I've been told this is not only Cam Ward, but this is a lot of folks. Guys are being paid to play in bowl games. Some coaches are like, look, give me a half and we'll get you out of there. And I believe this is what happened with Cam Ward. Now, I could be wrong, but I've been told this is the case in a lot of different programs. There's a book, I believe, coming out on it, if it can get done, about this bowl season, this very unique bowl season where we have 12 teams and kids still having to opt out on those teams because they got to put themselves in a transfer portal. What Cam Ward did is exactly what Jay Billis and all the writers and all the reporters that never played and never coached wanted. They wanted 18 to 23-year-olds to dictate the sport. They wanted 18 to 23-year-old quarterbacks to determine how the sport went. They wanted players to have complete and total control, and they got it. They absolutely got it. So you can't turn around, and most fans, if not 90% of the fans, say this is great for players. Good. You've let a sport be turned over to 18 to 23-year-olds. You've let a sport, a billion-dollar industry, get dictated by the whims, the financial whims of 18 to 23-year-olds. Now, no offense or offense, either way, to 18 to 23-year-olds. But I just want you to think about that for a second. What other industry, maybe, I don't even know if it's the entertainment industry that goes to the whims of 18 to 23-year-olds. I don't think it does. I think the Tommy Moltos of Sony back in the day still pulled the strings on Mariah Carey when she was young. I can't imagine there's another industry in the world other than college athletics that go to the whim of 18 to 23-year-olds, but this is what it is, and this is what you wanted. What did you think was going to happen? Did you think when they put in NIL, they were going to simply say, if you score 20 points tonight, we're going to put you on a billboard of the car dealership? Every single person knew once you open the can of NIL and open free agency, that's exactly what you were going to get. Open free agency, where players can, or coaches, advisors can go on other people's campuses. Agents are involved, making more money, I've been told, on college kids because the percentage is higher than on NFL players. It's astounding that anybody is mad about this. Nobody should be mad at Cam Ward. Don't be mad at Cam Ward. Be mad at the game. Cam Ward's just doing what every punk-ass kid's going to do. Take advantage. He's 18 to 23. Maybe he's 24. What does he know? He's trying to make that bag, yo. Here's what Mario Cristobal, I think all meetings with players and decisions like that, we should make them in private and keep them in private. So I'll prefer not to answer questions as it relates to that. I know he played his best while he was in there. RG3, noted weird guy. He defended Cam Ward as well. Some people criticizing Cam Ward sitting out second half of the Pop-Tarts Bowl would be saying how dumb it was for him to play if he got hurt. I agree with that. He didn't have to play at all. Instead, he gave us a half of jaw-dropping plays. Stop villainizing these student athletes. I got to tell you, you can villainize them all you want, but if you don't know 18 to 23-year-old entitled little football player, basketball player, soccer player, I don't give a damn what it is, aren't going to take advantage, you're out of your mind. Now, here's the thing, though. Cam Ward, and this is very unfair to other 18 to 23-year-olds, because there are a lot of 18 to 23-year-olds making some money in college athletics that aren't doing what Cam Ward did, and that's the flip side of it. But don't be shocked when one does. Don't be shocked when one sets the bar so low that he's going to sit out half the game. And please, for the love of God, don't go what Ryan McGuire, whoever that is, on ESPN said, and Cam Ward's going to have to answer to this to NFL teams. Are you crazy? There isn't one NFL team that gives one rat's ass about that. Here's Booger McFarland defending Cam Ward. Malik Neighbors did the same for LSU in a bowl game. I have no problem with Ward playing the half, attaining the record. They're not playing the second half, none whatsoever. Let's find fake outrage about something else, folks. I don't know if it's fake outrage. I think that people love sports, and I think people want sports to be pure. And like most media members, particularly African-American media members and white media members, that's wrong to say African-American, and white media too, because white media is scared to death to be considered racist. They all push for this. This is what they wanted. Now, I'm also not mad at older guys and girls, both colors, both shapes, both sizes, that say, look, screw that. This sucks. I get that too. I do. Now, what would happen if that's in the bowl championship series? What's happened? Woo, baby. Here's Todd McShay. I appreciate that Cam Ward in this day and age in college football played it all, but I just can't imagine. I can't either. I'm with Todd McShay on this. I just can't imagine starting any game with teammates, especially as a quarterback, and electing pull myself out while my teammates are still trying to finish the job in a back and forth battle. Now, this I agree with. I'm a realist. I know the climate. I'm not even knocking Cam here. It's just different. He is 1,768% right. Of course, Lebitard chimes in because, well, Fat Dan has to. Thank you, Cam Ward. No one at the University of Miami has ever played quarterback better. You can make the argument. No UM athlete, no time, no sport has ever played better in a single season. Yeah, salute. I mean, other athletes, both men and female, have gotten to the NCAA Final Four within the last 2 years. But look at Fat Dan. Fat Dan is going to salute Cam Ward. Where's knee pads on this? If Dan is speaking, well, I'm guessing Stugotz is under the table doing his best Monica Lewinsky. Now, here's the deal. Many athletes have played better than leading their team to the Pop-Tart Bowl. Let's not make any mistake about it. But you know what Fat Dan is doing. Fat Dan is posturing. Fat Dan is capping, yo. That's what he's doing. So just stop. Just stop with all the nonsense. Cam Ward, you did what you did. You used the system. God bless you. Is the system right? No. The system sucks. And I continue to say this, and people don't really understand it. You gotta protect the sport, the school, and if part of the sport is a bowl game, you gotta protect the bowl game. And when things are done that hurt the sport, you gotta do something about it. When it hurts the school, you gotta do something about it. Am I saying Cam Ward hurt the sport? Yes. Am I saying Cam Ward hurt the school? No. That's my opinion. Did Cam Ward do what he should do? Probably. Why not? But honest to God, when you start hurting the sport, you got to figure something else out. I've got the solution. One-time transfer, go back to that. NIL, no pay for play. Guy does something good, get some guys, get some enforcement, start punishing some folks, and we'll figure it all out. All right. When we come back, I got a lot to get to still. I got a lot of headlines to get to. And, of course, I got Hutton coming up, Jennifer. Yeah, I do. And Aaron Perini, all you guys, hey, look, if we're going to make the most beautiful man in football Hutton talk, then we got to have a beautiful woman. And we got Aaron Perini on to talk some football as well. We're equal opportunity here, folks. We'll be right back.